collection of Polonia, different groups and organizations. The kids, of course, are always here, but coming up Columbus Drive, it's been wonderful.
Yes, and right now we're watching the Highlanders, which are the Gorale from southern Poland. And
it's a huge group.
And it's very big in Chicago, especially on the southwest side, along Archer Avenue, where they have their headquarters. And they also sponsor all kinds of dance classes for their members, for the kids. And the Gorale have their own dialect. And they have storytelling festivals, song festivals. It's a very distinctive form of singing and dancing and everything.
And the costuming too. I mean, you mentioned earlier, Anna, just how with the different folk costumes, how you can almost immediately tell, where they're from by just looking at them. And of course, the Highlanders are very distinctive, that southern mountainous region.
And the men, for example, the Gorale, are wearing white woolen pants because they're sheep herders traditionally. They're known for making sheep cheese, which is called oscypek, and they're known for their fiddling, which, as you can see, is there right there. But they're very hardy folk.
We may be able to hear them a little bit, I'm not sure. No, I guess they're a little too far away. I thought we could hear them for just a moment, but unfortunately that's not the case.
And the Polish Highlanders Alliance was founded in 1929 and has 63 chapters all across the United States, totaling about 6,000 members. And even within the mountain regions, there are various costumes depending on what part they're from. And the current president of the organization here in Chicago is Henryk Mikołajczyk, who received an award from the mayor actually this Thursday as part of the Polish Constitution Day celebrations.
Love to watch the dancing. I mean, the footwork is spectacular. The costuming is just so wonderful.
Well, they're certainly keeping warm today by moving about.
There we have some of the fiddlers, the celloists.
Because again, when we were in Poland this summer, that was the region we were in, because that's where my mother is from, and that's a capella, a group, and they're present at all the different weddings and celebrations, and they told some phenomenal jokes, most of them, of course, which I cannot repeat here.
Yeah, we can kind of guess, I think, Anna, along the lines there. That's terrific.
But a very proud region of Poland, and if you go anywhere along Archer Avenue or further southwest, that's where their stronghold is in Chicago.
And it's interesting, and this is not unique to Polonia necessarily, but you do see the pockets of different populations, even within Polish Americans, as you mentioned, from whether they're Highlanders on the southwest sides or others up on the northwest side, whatever. And then eventually, from the city, new immigrants will come into the city generally, and then those who've established themselves will stay in the city. Many of them, of course, but others will then venture out, and that's where we see this kind of continual growth of different ethnic groups out through the suburbs, extending way out into the collar counties too.
Well, the Gorale are especially proud because Karol Wojtyła, the late Pope, was one of them. He was from that region of Poland as well. And they were also part of the Solidarity movement, as was everyone else.
Some of the, when I was over in Rome and Vatican City, in fact, I know some Highlanders from Chicago were over there as well for the papal funeral, and then for the conclave also. It was nice to walk out into St. Peter's Square there and then run into large groups of Chicagoans who, many of them had made, as you can imagine, a very quick decision. Where do they feel they want to be? And this is a group of 25, 30 people who said, oh, look, that's a great picture right there.
Hey, you can't wander too far away from his grown-up there, huh?
He's on the tether. But many of the people had decided in a very short period of time, I'm talking like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that we are going to go. We're going to get those plane tickets. We're going to go over to Rome and be there.
No, I know of women or people who, they had 4 hours notice or 2 hours notice, and they just left, and they hadn't slept for days, but it was very important for them to be there.
There's the way to go, huh? Catch that go-kart. That's the go-kart ride. There's a mixture, an interesting contrast there. Of folk costuming and youthful transportation.
So I think we left off with martial law, Alan, in 1981.
We're going back into history again.
We're going back into history. When General Jaruzelski declared martial law in December 12, 1981, and basically he had gotten an ultimatum from the Soviet government, from Brezhnev, and he said either the Soviet tanks come in or you control your own people.
That is what he's saying. I mean, in modern day times, it said that he chose the lesser of what he saw was two evils at that time. Of course, the greater evil being the Soviet invasion.
And then we forget. We think that Poland became free immediately after that. That was not the case. In 1983, the Pope wanted to come back to Poland. He kept negotiating with the Polish government until finally...
They were very hesitant. And you can appreciate why in terms of, from their standpoint.
Well, they were afraid they wouldn't be able to control the response.
Right, and they were right.
And they were right, because the Pope came, and despite tanks in the street and ZOMO, which was the special secret police, which was beating people up all over the place, over 3 million people turned out to see the Pope in 83 in Częstochowa alone, and 300,000 packed into a Warsaw stadium designed for 100,000. And a month after the Pope went home, martial law in Poland was lifted. So that was accomplished.
Then you had in 87, General Jaruzelski went to Rome to meet with the Pope. And you have, so much happened. It seems like now we look back and it seems like it happened all so quickly, but of course it played out over years' time with Mikhail Gorbachev leading the Soviet Union and saying that and signaling that he would no longer use military force to control Eastern Europe, and that kind of set the stage then for what eventually would be a peaceful transition in Poland. We're going to take a short break right now, but we hope that you'll stay with us for ABC 7's continuing coverage of the Polish Constitution Day Parade, and we'll be right back.
This portion of the 2005 Polish Constitution Day Parade is brought to you in part by Subway, Eat Fresh, Empire, Next Day Carpet, Flooring, and Window Treatments, Windows and Siding in a Week, American Family Insurance, all your protection under one roof. Look in the white or yellow pages and call today. And by Jewel-Osco, helping make your life easier.